Hey, what's up guys, it's Graphic Phoenix back with another video today. Today is May 31st, the 31st day of May Madness, and today is the end. It's been a great month. I've had a lot of fun with you guys, and yeah, you know, it's tough. A lot of work has gone into this month, and it's been a roller coaster, you guys. It's been a roller coaster. But I was throwing on some action chops for you guys. Today is something of a first. This is going to be a Biopod facility tour. So I'm sitting in the front kind of foyer, I guess, and we're just gonna we're gonna collect Tom on the way, which is one of the co-founders, and we will see how this goes. And we're gonna talk with Biopod. We're gonna see everybody whoever wants to be on camera who works here, and get it started with that. So, hey, what's up, NKM? Hey, Kyle. How you guys doing today? Say go Sweden. There you go. So, here we go. I'm gonna turn the camera around here, and we will kind of give you guys a tour. Then at the end of this video, we're going to talk with Tom and do some question and answer and that kind of thing. So, whoa. This is the front area, just a little bit of a seating area, nice orchid, a big ficus plant there, and the sign, the Biopod sign. When you walk in the door, the first thing you see is our boardroom. You can see there. That is where all the important meetings and conferences happen at Biopod. There's the full line of all the Biopods. It's crazy reflection. You guys will see it better after. But the One, the Terra, the Aqua 2, and the Grand. There's also shout out to that Camaro. Walking through the office, there's a hallway here. And Tom.
Hey.
It's Tom. We caught him working.
Yes. He's going away.
Yes.
How's it going, everybody?
Did you want to join us on the tour and answer any questions that people have?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Wicked. So we're just gonna get going here. First off, we're gonna go into the boardroom here. We can take a look. I just threw some fruit flies in with some of the dart frogs, so we'll be able to hopefully see, well, at least two species. These are the Dendrobates tinctorius azureus. Yes, Luke, I do. I work for Biopod. We got, this is the Biopod 1. It's looking very,
now?
or yeah, the Eden. It's been renamed. That is the dart frog there. We got a ton of different plants. There's the UV is currently on, and the moss is looking very nice. From there, we can move to the Terra, which is the second largest one, or second smallest, I guess, not the largest. And these are Phyllobates terribilis. So these guys are under special permit. We do have permits for these guys, and they are doing fantastic, just gorging down on some flies. You can see that little foot tapping behavior. That's kind of a sign of hunting with the dart frogs. Whoop. There we go, some nice bromeliads. The UV bulbs are a special kind of UV, like they are, basically we are the only one that have them, correct?
Yeah, they're pretty much the whole lighting system is custom. Actually, not pretty much, it is custom. So the UV light is a CCFL2. It's very, very small, but very powerful at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it serves to help with the plants and animals.
Yeah, so the UV is just tiny. I don't know how well you guys can see it. It's not very well. It's just tiny. We might have one set out that you guys can see later on. This is George Farmer's Biopod. This is the Aqua. It's doing really well, growing some crazy plants out the back with the moss that we were having, which is super, super cool. And then, yeah, just a very nice setup tank. That was for Skate Masters that George Farmer was here. And is there any information we can talk about with Skate Masters currently?
Yeah, Skate Masters is really, the hobbyists that have been building and escaping tanks, for the last 30 years. I don't think they've had their due in the public limelight. And so Skate Masters is really a platform that we're using to showcase just the incredible talent that these skaters have, and really all over the world this is happening. And we just really, Biopod really wanted to be the vehicle for these hobbyists to get their message and obviously to get their creations out there.
Absolutely. And that is George Farmer's. We'll see Oliver Knott's, Yufan Yang's, and Jared's later on. This is the Aqua 2, so this is a very, very tall guy here.
Probably see that UV light now from this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it. So right there, that's the UV bulb right there. That little tiny strip right at the tip of my finger there. This one is awesome. There's a couple plants I really like in here, like that Biophytum sensitivum down there. And then this bromeliad has a huge flower spike that is being jammed, but it's still actually going into bud and will actually flower. So that will be super, super cool.
And that was not there when we originally put that in the Biopod.
No, yeah, that's been here since even I've been working here. That's grown in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that's wicked. There is Ranitomea Fantastica Nominal, I'm pretty sure, in here. And these guys are tough to see. They're always hiding in the bromeliads. So we might not be able to see them. Yeah, I don't think we can, unfortunately. And then these are the crown jewels. Ooh, perfect. Right out and about. That is an Oophaga lemani. So those are very well probably the only ones in Canada, if not extremely, extremely numbered. And we are trying to get those guys breeding. We have, I believe, 6 total?
8.
8 total? There's another one hopping down there. And these are in the Big Daddy. These guys are in the Grand. Woo! These guys are in the Grand. With some crazy big bromeliads. And just a lot of foliage, which is really, really nice. You guys can kind of get a whole feel of the whole tank here. Misting systems. Tillandsias. Dischidia in the back there. A lot of stuff.
It's good to note, like in this one, we've got an extra sensor in there just to basically, we're doing a lot of testing with the animals themselves, and so to make sure that they've got like accurate humidity, accurate temperature, we're just doing double checks essentially.
Yeah, so we have our humidity sensor and temperature gauge, which the humidity's up there, temperature's in the substrate, and we're just making sure everything's checked and double checked so we can make sure everything's good. And that kind of rounds out the boardroom as you see a flyby of all the tanks here. And we can go out the door. In here we have Chris. Say hi to everybody, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Right on. And Chris, what do you do here at Biopod?
Well, I do a lot of the finance, accounting, human resources, office IT, and a little bit of whatever else I need to do. So, lots of fun.
Yes, indeed. And this is Chris. You set up this tank, yeah?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Perfect. So we got some little platies, and then some Hemianthus cuba there. And then, oh man, this is really testing me. Tillandsia, bromeliad, elosia, more bromeliad, fern of some kind. That is Photonia or nerve plant. And then this is, it's called, I can't remember. It's like Chinese maidenhair or something is its common name. And a bunch of moss. So that's awesome. How are they filtered? Essentially how they're filtered is it's taken from the bottom compartment here and then is passed through the living wall that is going to be packed with plants, moss, and all the roots do all the filtering. It's all biological filter. And then there's also a small sponge in the bottom which just gets rid of any mechanical waste. I wish I could speak that language.
It's not Chinese, is it?
No.
Yeah.
And here we have Sandy. Say hi to everybody.
Hello?
Hi.
Carla.
Sandy's back there.
Yeah, Sandy's back there. And here we have Katie and Sharjeel. And then we have the infamous Pinky. This is the resident panther chameleon here at Biopod. Man, a lot of people coming in from non-English speaking countries.
Yeah.
That's
One
awesome.
One of the most important things is that with all of our employees, what we've asked them to do is during our growth stage, is we've asked every employee to actually have a biopod to keep themselves. So it's really important because I think to live and breathe it and to actually have one and play with it is an important part of the whole process, especially when you're wanting to work for Biopod. Obviously you got to know the ins and outs and so forth. So it's good. You'll see that everybody either has one at home or has one in their office.
Absolutely. And here's kind of the
R&D,
yeah,
engineering.
exactly. Engineering, research and development area. We have Sandy over there. That is Sandy.
That's me.
And then we have Chris over here. Hello, Chris. And we got our little testing facility all set up here, doing some light tests. So
Yeah.
wicked. Then we can kind of go back here. That's the hallway we just came from, as you guys know. Then we go into our kind of just kitchen area, fridge, coffee maker, that kind of thing. Nothing super exciting. And then this is the prototype room. These are all some of the first biopods.
Yeah, these biopods have been around for 2 years actually, for these two anyway. So this is the Aqua 2. And what we've done is we've purposely have done nothing to them in terms of maintenance. We've tried to do, if we've done any maintenance, it's been extremely little.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we want to do is basically aim to see what actually happens, in its purest natural form. And so you can see with these biopods, they're doing really, really well. I think obviously the plants, being 2 years old, they're doing fabulous. And then if you look at the fish in here, they're basically on 5th or 6th generation now. So we know that the system is absolutely working, and that's obviously really important for us. We do tons of R&D at Biopod. Obviously, the care for pets, especially the consumer's pets and your pets, are extremely important to us. So it's important that we get everything right.
Absolutely. And this guy over here, these are Colombian Aratus. There was a baby up in the roof, but apparently not anymore. And they actually have tadpoles in the back there, you guys can see. In the little cup there, they have a bunch of tads. And here, this is just a living wall packed with a ton of different kinds of Magravia and some bromeliads. There is the Aqua 2 filled with a bunch of fish and a ton of moss. This thing has been growing like crazy. And then again, a living wall with a ton of Magravia, and there's a couple other different plants in there as well. This is, as Tom was saying, one of the oldest biopods. There is one of my favorite plants right here. This is actually a Masdevallia minuta, and it had a flower maybe a week and a half ago. Unfortunately, it didn't last long enough to get it in the stream, but it was just tiny. It was like the very tip of my finger. So small. There's a bunch of bromeliads. There's an Nepenthes in here doing really well. And here is kind of the grow out tank for Columbian Auratus. I don't think you guys can kind of see them there. Is there any out to the side here? Yep, there is one right there, but I don't think the lighting's good enough. It's shaded in that area. Yeah, you can't see them. Drat. And in here is day geckos, which you can actually see right there. He's watching, keeping a watchful eye on what's going on outside. Curious little guys. Day geckos are some of my favorite. They're so cool. They actually do have a clutch of eggs too. So they're incubating right there. Now we break into the warehouse. And there is a bunch of biopods set up in here. And then the cube, that is our, I guess, greenhouse, essentially. And I guess we'll just take the tour of all these biopods. So this is Yufan Yang's. This was again from Skate Masters. Yep. And this is the Biopod 2, or the Aqua 2. And there are Columbian Auratus in here somewhere. It's just a question of where. It's so big, there's so much growth. It's very hard to see them. You guys, for those of you asking right now, we will be answering your questions after we kind of take the tour. We'll sit down for a little bit and answer a couple questions for 5-6 minutes or 5-10 minutes after. And then this is Jared's scape that he set up about a month ago now. And a bunch of different rare kinds of Salaginella. A bunch more over here. There's some bromeliads, some awesome Dischidia at the back there. There is a bunch of aquatic plants, Hemianthus cuba, Cynodorus. There's a ton of different stuff living in this tank. There's no large animals or frogs or geckos or what have you. It's just plants. From there, I guess we'll go to the middle here. This is the Desert Terra. So this is the first desert, I guess, terrarium scape that we have set up here. And it is looking fantastic. It gets nice and cooking hot in there if you need it to, but it doesn't certainly have to be. All these are all live succulents. They're all planted. Thanks, Kaylin, for posting that. I appreciate that. And that is the Terra. Over here, this is Oliver Knott's tank. This is in a aqua, and it is doing fantastic. This thing, this Echinodorus, I don't know what species, species it is, but it is going absolutely insane in this tank. When he put it in, there was not any leaves touching lights. There was none of these flower spikes growing out. There's another one that shoots way out and is hitting the side of the tank again. There was none of that. This tank is doing fantastic. And we got some little guppies living in the bottom here. HC is growing really well. Very, very nice setup there. We got some more succulents to either side of that tank. And then here is Jared's Skate Masters tank. And it's growing in really well. There is some Magravia starting to take off there. Even more up top. A ton of different bromeliads, all of which are getting some fantastic colors under these lights. Some Tillandsias and Salaginella. I'm pretty sure that's a Pilea spruciana. I'm pretty sure. And then the bottom there. And here, another Aqua 2. Over here is another Aqua 2. This is one of our, oh, he's out and about. This is our crested gecko. Very cute little guy. Showing off for you guys. And you guys, they use little tiny hairs on their feet. And their fingers are double jointed. So that's how they actually let go. If they just left their hand up. I mean, I didn't say they're the most coordinated, but that's how they let go, is they have to unhinge their fingers. And then it reduces the van der Waals forces, and they, well, apparently in this case, they tumble to the ground. This is another Terra here. There should be some Azurius in here somewhere. Oh, you can just barely, oh no, oh no. Just barely see some blue in there. Hardly. It's hard to see. There we go. And now we can go to definitely the most adventurous part of this, of Biopod here, is the cube. So this is where all of our plants are. They're being propagated, they're growing. As you can see, those are the temperatures. It's 82% humidity and 27 degrees Celsius. Ooh, that's blinding. Some tillandsias.
So a lot of this
moss. Go ahead.
So this plant room is really interesting because, you know, we call it the Biopod cube. It's still missing a few components of our technology, but it's a work in progress for us. But what you see is basically what's in the consumer product is actually in the cube here. And so the lights, the
Misting system.
All of that we decided to incorporate into this BioCube, really, because we could, and because we know that our system works so well that you know, to go out and do it, or to buy something like this, it wouldn't make sense when our stuff does a way better job, essentially.
Absolutely. And here is all the, these are all Tropica plants. These are actually all aquarium plants, but as you can see, we are growing them immersed, and they are doing fantastic. Over here, we have all sorts of different mosses. There is, these are all aquarium mosses, various Tropica. I know there's spiky, and Christmas moss, I'm pretty sure, is on the other side. And then under this guy here is Iliocaris macularis, the dwarf hairgrass. And over here is one of the coolest things, because this is actually HC. So these were all little tiny plugs like you see back here, and now they're starting to grow over and just carpet across this whole tray. Now the reason it hasn't carpeted across the whole thing is because we used it in some of our Biopod setups. So it is pretty insane. There's just more under here. You can see there. Now once we are done with that, we shall go to the other side. And these lights are set up on timers, so they turn on, thank you, Tom. So they turn on and turn off at various intervals and keep the humidity and the temperature regulated in here. You can see here, we got a bunch. They're 10 feet high, so you need to be on a ladder to get to the very top. But at the top, we basically just have a ton of Hoya and then some Dischidia. And that is pretty continuous across everywhere. Over here, we have several different species of Magravia growing in there. There's begonias. There is, what else? What else is cool that we can show? Oh yeah, this is These are more aquarium plants in here. These are all Bucephalandra species here, and then some Hygrophila right up front. And this is right under here. One of my favorite trays is actually right here. So what we have here is a moss tray originally that is now changed into very slowly and through the the spores and seeds that were in the moss, slowly being taken over by carnivorous plants. You can see here that is a Pinguicula. Again, no idea what species they are because they just started growing. And then there's actually some Drosera or sundew over there. So there's several different plants in here, as you can see. There's more right here. There's another Drosera right back there. Another one over here. It's crazy. That is one of the coolest things in here, in my opinion. And then all the rest is, again, just all covered. There's various different species of random stuff growing, moss. Yeah, that is kind of the BioCube. Alrighty. Ooh, it is toasty in there.
Yeah, it was a little warm.
You don't even notice. And that is the facility.
It really is a work in progress. We've been here probably for a little over 2 months. So we've done quite a bit to the space. Like, it was completely empty when we started, but it's slowly coming together, and so it's a work in progress.
Absolutely. It's coming along. Everything's getting organized, and this was the set of the Skate Masters. Well, as you can see. Our fruit fly room is all back there. We don't need to show you guys that, though. And just walk through again. And then I think we'll take a seat for...
For what?
We're live.
Sure, yeah, I'll join you in a second.
Sure. So Sharjeel will come as well. We're just going to pull up a chair. And, oh, no, we're going to the conference room. Never mind. Chairs are already here.
Yeah, we have lots of chairs in here.
So now is the time where we can kind of open it up to questions for all of you folks. Tom's just grabbing his laptop here. Do you know when you will have a Biopod? I have mine. It is sitting at home being ready to set up for Striker. There we go. You're giving me all of your subs.
Sorry?
Nah, somebody's just talking in the same chat, so don't worry about it. There we go. Oh, still very bad connection. Hopefully it figures it out here. Potato internet. He's back. I am back. It still says bad connection though. Oh, there we go. Now it's figured itself out. We lost about half of our viewers though. Alright, so you guys, we're just waiting on Sharjeel, but you guys can start asking questions, and we can start answering here. Does Biopod need a drainage layer for tropical climates?
Better question for you to actually
Yeah,
answer.
I can answer that. Yes, it does. Biopod has a built-in drainage layer, and is easy to set up for the different tropical climates, easy to set up for bioactive setups, and runs extremely well. Sharjeel is in the house.
Hey guys.
There we
You should
go.
introduce yourself. We should introduce ourselves.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Sure. My name is Sharjeel. I've been with Biopod for about 1.5 years now, since the beginning. I'm currently, my position is currently I'm working as a biologist. So I created the back-end data that on the app that you see for all the different species. Basically what I had to do was I had to get data from the field, like the actual locations from all the species that are found, and integrate it into the app so it works seamlessly with all the components. And right now I'm working on a few different things like testing and traveling, meeting distributors and whatnot. But I'm still a biologist as my position.
Biologist at heart. He's I think he put it a little lightly what he actually does. He really is, the backbone of this company. He does quite a bit, and so we're lucky to have you, man.
Thanks.
So I don't know, Mike, did you introduce me before? You did.
Kind of, yeah. You can go over it again.
So really, there's two co-founders of Biopod. There was Jared, who actually invented Biopod, and myself, who came on board on the marketing and development side, and on the marketing and development side. And so Jared's not here today because he's a little bit under the weather, but I'm here, and so yeah, I'd love to answer any of your questions.
All right, let's scroll down here. Can we, Jake, if you're still in here, can you keep an eye out for chat, please? Alrighty. How much does a tank cost?
So depending on where you are in the world, but we typically talk about U.S. pricing. So you're looking at anywhere from our smallest unit at $449 all the way up to the grand, which is $1,000.
Yeah. So there's a range of prices, and it really depends on where you're from. And yeah, do you ship to Norway?
Currently, we've literally talked to distributors around the world in all the major countries. Currently, like in the EU, we're really only dealing with the UK at this point. We're moving as fast as we can to bring on other distributors in other countries, but it's definitely on the horizon with Norway, Netherlands, just that whole region. We're going to get to you. It's just going to take some time.
So Jake asked, when will Peregrine have them?
Peregrine will basically, our retail launch is July 17th, and so they're expecting a shipment, pretty much within the next few weeks here. So if you're a retailer and you haven't been in contact with Peregrine yet, you definitely should, because there's definitely a limited supply, as there's been huge demand for it.
Where can we find out more about Biopod?
The best place, obviously, is our website, biopod.com. But a step further, if you're looking at lots more videos, a lot more content, how-tos, and so forth, check out our Facebook page, really facebook.com/mybiopod. Our YouTube channel has some stuff on it, but mainly Facebook right now.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is going. That's where we're announcing all the distributors and wholesalers, so keep an eye on the Facebook page.
Our website, actually, if, depending on where you are, in about 2 weeks, we'll have a relaunch of our site. It'll have an actual map locator of, where you can buy, or the closest place you can buy Biopod relative to your postal code or zip code.
Perfect. What is your favorite tank?
What's yours?
I think my favorite is the Terra, simply because it has, that was the one right there. It has more horizontal room, and you can make some really interesting scapes with that.
Thanks, Jake.
And like most people's favorite would be the Aqua. I think I'm more of a terrarium guy than an aquarium guy, so that's why I prefer Terra.
And mine, and we should get to yours too, Mike, because
Yeah, I'll answer. Go for it, though.
But my favorite is the Aqua, really, because the versatility of being able to have like a full paludarium, right? You can have the fish if you want. You can have the plants if you want. So it's very versatile, right? So for my family, being able to have different things in it is pretty important. So that's my favorite.
Absolutely. And I think, mine is, well, a combination of the both. Mine is both the Terra. It really depends on what you're looking for in your biopod, really. If you want to keep fish and or semi-aquatic creatures, then obviously the Aqua is the way to go. But if you're more into dart frogs and or smaller lizards and things, then definitely the Terra. What is the price of the Aqua? Again, this will likely be in USD.
Yeah, all the pricing, basically, like I mentioned, $449 to $1,000, but everything is going to be announced literally within like 48 hours here for the U.S. market. So just stay tuned to our posts, and you'll see everything.
There you go. So just follow the Facebook page and the website, and you will be able to be updated on that as soon as it is available. Forget it. Can you? What are the rough dimensions of the Terra? I believe it's 24.
I can pull it out here, actually.
Yeah, actually,
You
that's
can have it, yeah.
that's a good idea.
Inches or centimeters?
Go inches.
Yeah.
A lot of the people
Well,
are.
lengthwise, you're talking about 25 inches, lengthwise. Width, as in depth, is about 15 inches, and the height is 14 inches for the tank.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Now the unit itself is slightly taller than that, just because, as you
Yeah,
can
on
see
the-
right beside Tom's shoulder there is a base to them, and then there's also a canopy on top. So they are slightly larger than that, or taller than that. And centimeters, I guess say the centimeters as well.
Yeah, lengthwise, it's about 63 centimeters. This is just the glass tank itself.
Yeah.
Width, which is depth, about 39 centimeters. Height is about 36 centimeters.
There you go. I don't know if we can answer your question, Gary, simply because did Sharjeel and or Tom, did you guys set up any of these tanks here? I think it was mostly Jared. right?
I
We've
did
done quite a few of these.
I did
perfect.
the Eden over there.
Okay. And so what was your hardest tank to set up, and I guess how long did it take?
Now, are we talking about scaping it, or are we
Scaping
talking
it, scaping it. Yeah, yeah.
I think that personally the most difficult one to scape is probably the Aqua 2. Simply because there's a lot of surface area in the back,
Yeah.
because it's tall.
Yeah.
Most of them are actually quite similar in scaping. It just depends on how tall they are. Horizontally, they're almost all the same
Yeah.
to scape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's really interesting is what we've really aimed to do with every model, with the exception of the Grand, is to make the scapes really 60 minutes. Are we having some technical difficulties?
Just Facebook messages. No. we're
Oh, okay, gotcha. So really, like with these tanks, like on the Scape Masters show, essentially we gave them 60 minutes to scape their biopods, and they were doing everything from the Aqua 2 to the Aqua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so really for I think the end user, I would say plan on, about 60 minutes to maybe 2 hours. That would probably include prep time, and really depending on the scale of what you're trying to do as well.
Absolutely.
I know that some of our guys have gone into like insane amount of detail and what they want to put in there. So and I think like with these with Biopod and with just escaping in general, there's like you look at a Biopod and you think I think I'm done, but I'm not, because I want to put other things into it, right?
Yeah.
And so your landscape can constantly change. And I know for you guys, for Mike's followers, you guys are probably accustomed to, this hobby. But for a lot of the new guys that are coming into this hobby, I think it's pretty cool to be able to see your scape change, and not have the same, not look at the same thing, week after week, right? Obviously plants are growing and fish are changing and animals are changing and so forth, but to be able to quickly put new things into your biopod, I think that's really was one of our goals, was to make that as simple and easy as possible.
Absolutely. What would you say is better for a mossy frog, an Aqua and Aqua 2? I'd say probably the Aqua, simply because the depth of the water is a little bit lower. So it allows them to swim and to dive as they need. However, it doesn't have the risk or anything of them drowning in something that's very, very deep. So that's what I'd say, but honestly you could use either one. You don't have to fill up the Aqua 2's reservoir, or like the the tank part of the aqua too all the way full for it to function
Yeah, you
properly.
can even just have a little shallow pool if you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
There was a question about shipping.
Uh,
How will it
how would they
survive
survive shipping? There you go.
So we've actually done quite a bit of drop testing on these Biopods. And so they ship, basically all of them, with the exception of the Grand, ship fully assembled, and they're plug-and-play products, right? And so we had to do quite a bit of testing. So we've done like 10-foot drops off of, just obviously drop tests to see how they would fare and so forth. They've done extremely well, and I guess I think the best testament of our shipping and our packaging is probably the U.S. Customs. We've taken Biopods like literally across the world, but for some reason, I love the U.S. Customs, but they really know how to not handle things properly. And so, we've gone through, like, we've taken a Biopod like 3 times through customs in a week, and they've survived. So that's, I think, really, really good testament to how well it's packaged.
Will there be worldwide shipping?
So not initially, no. So really what we're working with right now is distributors in each country. So right now we're launching specifically in Canada, the US, the UK, Australia, and parts of China. And for our backers, for Kickstarter and Indiegogo, like we're working obviously on getting the Biopods to the backer through our distribution channel, and then for the ones that are not in the distribution channel, you're still going to get your Biopods. But for new customers that are looking to buy Biopods, we're, like I mentioned earlier, we're getting to as many countries as possible with the group that we have, and we'll be bringing on more as we go through this year and next year.
I saw another one here. Do you have to have an iPhone? And I guess I can answer this one, and no. It works with Android and iOS. I know several of us have iPhones here, but I know Sharjeel has Samsung?
Samsung, it's an Android.
Yeah, it all runs the app just fine.
Yeah.
So what is I guess that's a good one. What does the app do for the Biopod? What differentiates this from other products out there similar to these?
Mm-hmm. Well, number one, Biopod has probably 10 times more components than any other terrarium or aquarium in the market, like way more components.
Mm-hmm.
What the app does is it lets you modify the environment to a program for a specific species, and these are all selected. They're all pre-done, and like I mentioned before, it's all real data from the habitats from where the animals are found. So for a new user who doesn't know how to keep a animal or doesn't know what temperature, humidity, whatever it should be for this particular animal, you can just you can go into the automatic mode and select whatever animal you have, and it'll modify all the components, including the lights and everything, to be pretty much perfect for the animal.
And what components are in there? What does it control?
It can.
Yeah, so the kind of elevator pitch that I always say is it's a smart microhabitat.
Yeah.
So it controls everything from light, humidity, rain, air, and temperature, right? And so it's an all-in-one system. When we looked at some of the packages out there currently, some of the offerings, there's really nothing like Biopod out there. I mean, you can do it DIY yourself, but you're not going to get anything close to a Biopod, especially in terms of pricing. I think we're on par with if you were going to buy components separately and put it together. We're pretty on par with that pricing, but where it really kind of kicks butt is when you get into like our back end system and you get into our databases. Really what Sharjeel is saying and what we've developed is this whole database for it really as unlimited species. Like right now we have over 300 species cataloged in our app. It'll grow as we have consumers like yourself out there using it. So the aim is really to get the most precise habitat possible for any species that you put in there. And that's the name of the game. I mean, what you guys are trying to do out there in your homes is what we're trying to develop to maintain that.
Absolutely. And I saw, is there or will there be a chiller option? Will it cool?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it comes up every now and then, and
Yeah.
we talk about it. There's about 200 items that we want to put onto the Biopod, and that will roll out. I mean, there's absolutely for the chiller, there's a place and time for that, and we definitely will eventually have that as well.
There you go. There's also other ways of doing it with currently what we have, like evaporative cooling and stuff with clay pots. If you guys are orchid keepers, that's how they keep orchids cool, is with clay pots, and it evaporates water through the clay pot and cools it. So that's one way of keeping it a little cooler. How many species are on the app? We answered that. Yes, there are UV lights in the tank. And what do I do for Biopod? My position is the Biopod technician, so I basically do whatever needs to get done. I will feed, water, fill reservoirs, design tanks, set up new tanks, create fruit fly cultures, take care of the BioCube, and those are kind of my duties here.
Yeah, and you really, Mike, you guys both sell yourself a little short. You guys are like the experts. I mean, Mike is just a wealth of knowledge for Biopod. Obviously, like he is our resident expert on animals and plants. So anytime we have questions about like care and stuff like that, Mike is really the go-to person. For
Well,
those
thank
questions.
you, Tom. I appreciate it. What would you need to do if one happened to break, as in the tank or components in the tank? Because the tank should have no problem, but the components will be all replaceable.
Yeah, but if you were getting one shipped to you, obviously we have insurance for that. But if you're buying it through a retail store and there's components, obviously you would go back to your retail store and let them know about it.
There you go. So we're all up to date on questions and comments. We're hitting the 50-minute mark here. So I think I might turn it down here, unless you guys have any other things you want to say right now. If Tom, you have something you want to share with the people?
There was a question in terms of species, where our database is right now. If you're on the Android store, the Apple store, you can download the app. I want to warn you though, it's about 14 iterations old. We've purposely not updated that. It will get updated in the next 2 weeks here. And so you'll be able to go in there as a user, play around with all the functions, features, and all that stuff, and see the database of the different species that we actually have in there. But other than that, I mean, this is exciting. I mean, we're happy and elated to be part of, Mike's this channel, and obviously what Mike's doing and so forth. And we're obviously extremely pleased to have you here with us as well.
Thank you very much. There was one more question that I would like to address before we shut it down, and that is plant packs. Can we talk about those a little bit? Specifically, it was will they be available from Peregrine? But just plant packs in general, if you guys want to.
Yeah, so we're working on plant packs in the UK, for Canada, and also Australia. The plant packs will look different for each region.
Yeah.
And they'll be separate of the biopods for each region. Now, with the exception of the US, when you're purchasing a biopod in the US, it does include the plant pack for you. And how you get the plant pack is essentially you buy your biopod, you're going to go home. Once you set it up through your app, it's literally going to queue you to enter the serial numbers and so forth, and then enter your address, and your plant pack will be drop shipped to you in about 48 hours.
So there you go. It's essentially, when you set it up, it's express shipped to your house, so you're ready to get your plant pack or your biopod up and going with your plant pack and everything. So for those of you, I saw one question and it said that what is Peregrine? They're a wholesaler?
Yeah, they're a distributor in the UK.
Yeah.
So if you're in the UK, there's a ton of retailers that are going to be carrying Biopod, and as I mentioned before, check back on our website in 2 weeks. You'll be able to see exactly where those retailers are.
Perfect. Well, I will shut down the stream right now, you guys. Very much, Tom and Sharjeel, for being here. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, this is the 31st day of May Madness, you guys. It's over. Tomorrow, there will be the June Reptile Room Tour, so stay tuned for that. And it's going to be exciting. So if you guys like the video, drop a like down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave that in the comment section. If you enjoy what you see here and you want to purchase a Biopod, they will be out. The retail launch is July 17th, so you guys can go find your local distributor and sellers there and pick them up. I hope you guys had a great day. If you liked the video, subscribe to my channel, play Ding Dong Ditch with a doorbell right next to it. You'll get notified every time that I post a video and or go live. And I want to thank you guys all for being here. So thank you from everybody at Biopod.